At first, it seemed like an insignificant detail, just a piece of candy exchanged quietly during an awards ceremony. Yet, at the Tencent All Star Awards 2025, this small action quickly became one of the most talked about moments of the night. While attention remained focused on the stage, Liu Yuning was seen briefly leaving his seat and returning with candy, which he then offered to Zhao Lusi, seated close beside him. The interaction was subtle, brief, and unannounced. There were no dramatic reactions, no deliberate gestures for the camera, and no visible attempt to turn the moment into a public display. And that was exactly why it stood out. In an industry where public appearances are often carefully controlled, unplanned moments tend to resonate more strongly. What appeared ordinary at first soon sparked widespread discussion, not because of speculation, but because it felt natural, timely, and quietly considerate. To understand why this moment drew such attention, it is important to look beyond the candy and examine the context surrounding it. To understand why such a small gesture drew attention, it helps to look at the reality behind major award ceremonies like the Tencent All Star Awards. While these events appear polished and effortless on screen, they place significant physical and mental demands on the artists involved. Award shows often last for several hours, during which attendees remain seated under strong lighting, heavy makeup, and formal clothing. Food and water are usually limited, as artists must maintain appearance and remain ready for unexpected stage appearances. Over time, this environment can quietly drain energy. There is also constant psychological pressure. Cameras move unpredictably, and every reaction may later be examined in detail. Staying composed under continuous observation requires concentration and stamina. Within this context, subtle signs of fatigue are not unusual. When viewers noticed Zhao Lusi appearing less animated than usual, it was understood not as a problem, but as a natural response to the demands of a long, high-pressure event. As the event continued, some viewers began noticing subtle changes in Zhao Lusi's demeanor. Known for her expressive and energetic presence, she appeared quieter than usual, with fewer movements and longer moments of stillness. Her posture remained composed, yet her responses to the stage program seemed more restrained. It is important to approach such observations carefully. No specific condition can be confirmed based on brief footage alone. However, during lengthy and demanding events, temporary fatigue or reduced energy is not uncommon. Extended sitting, limited food intake, bright lighting, and sustained focus can all contribute to this state. For audiences familiar with award ceremonies, these signs were not alarming. Instead, they were recognized as natural physical responses to prolonged public appearances. This perspective became significant when viewers later revisited the candy exchange. Within this context, the gesture no longer appeared random, but aligned with a practical response to a moment of visible tiredness, subtle, respectful, and proportionate to the situation. Within this context, Liu Yuning's decision to get candy appeared practical rather than spontaneous. Instead of drawing attention or interrupting the event, he chose a solution that was both quick and unobtrusive. He briefly stepped away, obtained the candy, and returned without disrupting the program or those around him. Candy is commonly used as a fast source of energy when regular food is not available. It requires no explanation, no assistance from medical staff, and no visible acknowledgement. In crowded, high-profile environments, such simplicity is often the most appropriate response. What stood out was how seamlessly the action fit into the setting. There was no visible exchange of words, no signals to the camera, and no follow-up reaction once the candy was offered. The moment ended as quietly as it began. For many viewers, this reinforced the impression that the gesture was functional rather than performative, a calm, measured response aimed at addressing a minor need without creating unnecessary attention. What continued to resonate with audiences was not the act of giving candy itself, but the restraint surrounding it. In highly visible settings, gestures of concern are often followed by exaggerated reactions or repeated attention. In this case, the interaction ended the moment its purpose was fulfilled. After the candy was offered, Liu Yuning showed no visible follow-up. There was no checking for acknowledgement, no prolonged engagement, and no attempt to frame the moment as meaningful for those watching. Zhao Lusi accepted the gesture calmly, without surprise or hesitation, suggesting familiarity rather than formality. This absence of emphasis allowed the moment to remain understated. It neither demanded interpretation nor relied on context to appear significant. Instead, it reflected attentiveness carried out quietly and without expectation. For many viewers, this lack of performance was precisely what made the gesture feel sincere. In an industry built on visibility, actions that do not seek attention often stand out the most. The moment did not ask to be noticed, it was noticed because it felt natural. That quiet authenticity is what separated it from countless other interactions at public events. As the conversation expanded, many viewers questioned why the explanation of low blood sugar felt convincing rather than speculative. The reason lies in how closely the context, behavior, and response aligned. Long award ceremonies often involve limited food intake, extended sitting, and sustained mental focus. Under such conditions, brief drops in energy are not unusual. Common signs may include reduced alertness, quieter behavior, and a need for quick replenishment, all of which some viewers felt were consistent with what they observed. Equally important was the response itself. Candy is a widely recognized, fast-acting source of sugar and is commonly used in situations where discretion is required. The action was calm, proportionate, and resolved the moment without escalation. For audiences, this sequence felt logical. While no one can confirm the exact reason, the explanation resonated because it followed a clear pattern. Observable fatigue, a simple solution, and an immediate return to normal. Rather than rumor, it appeared to be a reasonable interpretation grounded in everyday experience. Ultimately, the moment gained attention not because it suggested drama, but because it reflected something familiar and human. A simple response, carried out quietly and without emphasis, stood out within an environment where every action is often magnified. What viewers connected with was the timing and appropriateness of the gesture. It addressed a possible need without creating a scene, and then disappeared back into the flow of the event. There was no attempt to shape a narrative or invite interpretation, and that restraint made the moment feel genuine. In highly controlled public settings, authenticity often emerges through what is not emphasized. This interaction did not rely on words, expressions, or prolonged focus. Its impact came from its subtlety. That is why a single piece of candy resonated so widely. It reminded audiences that even under constant scrutiny, small acts of consideration can remain natural. Sometimes, the moments that speak the loudest are the ones that are never meant to be seen.